The Biden administration may be hoping that yesterday's third indictment of former President Trump will redirect attention away from the House Oversight Committee's closed-door interview with Hunter Biden's former business partner, Devon Archer, on Monday. But trust me, that is not the only fire that they want to put out. It seems like every day there are more fires this administration needs to put out. Yesterday, the Fitch Ratings, one of the big three credit rating agencies, downgraded America's rating from AAA to AA+. Well, what does this mean? What does it mean for America? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to our national debt? Well, here to fill us in is Dr. Dave Brat, Dean of the School of Business at Liberty University, also a former congressman from Virginia who served on the House Budget Committee and the Small Business Committee, among other things. Dr. Brat, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Hey, great to be on with my favorite congressman. Thanks, Jody.
Well, listen, you have a lot of fans at FRC. I can tell you that for sure.
Right.
All right, let's begin with just the groundwork. What can you tell us about Fitch Ratings and the debt rating system as a whole?
Yeah, well, I think everyone's reading the headlines. The rating agencies are not to be taken seriously, right? They missed the entire 07-08 financial crisis. They were never serious. They should have probably been sued for dereliction of duty, et cetera. And so now they're finally coming in late. I mean, the idea that no one knows that we're going to be $50 trillion in debt in 10 years when it's posted on CBO, you know, what took you so long? And just so everybody knows, the current federal funds rate, the Federal Reserve interest rate is 5%. And 5% of $50 trillion in debt is $2.5 trillion in just interest payments alone. And so we're sunk, right? And the idea they posted that Medicare's insolvent in 10 years, Social Security's insolvent in 10 years. Shocker. You know, you and I and anybody that has a conscience has been reporting that for years to save the kids' future. And so, you know, now they're, you know, it's all political, left versus right. But the most important thing is productivity in this country has been down 40 years in a row. And that's not me, right? That's the leading expert in economics on productivity at Northwestern University, Robert Gordon, if people want to, you know, get serious about the issue. And so we're on the wrong course. You're not going to grow your way out of this. We have serious choices to make. The Republicans just went in with the Democrats on a $7 trillion budget this year and next year. It's a COVID budget where we sent checks to everybody without COVID, right? It was $5 trillion. Then they jacked it to 7 because we're in an existential crisis, I guess, you know, of our government's causing because they shut down the economy. But now we're just continuing the spending charade. And I think you know just as well as me, that's what's going on here.
Well, and is frightening. And, you know, just to be very honest with you, no, absolutely what you're talking about with the COVID spending was insane. What kept coming and coming and coming. And I know many of us were opposed to those kinds of things. But even here recently, the unlimited debt ceiling increase that many Republicans supported, that's part of the problem as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's just shocking. And, you know, these views are just my own, but anybody that voted for that should be given a real good explanation of why they're doing that. They put our country in a tremendously bad place. And the American people are starting to wake up a little bit, right? The stock market is going to react here. But we're in for probably a lost decade. As I said, when productivity's down, and, you know, the leading cause of economic is capital accumulation. China has way more capital to work with than the United States of America. And now human capital, the kids in K-12 education, how are we doing there in all the cities across the country? We're not producing human capital, training our kids in the sciences and engineering, computer science, IT, artificial intelligence. We're way behind the curve, and we got some major work to do.
All right, so let me ask you this. Bottom line, this thing has come out. How does this downgrade affect everyday Americans? What is it going to mean for not only the national debt, but what's it going to mean for interest rates? What's it going to mean for the U.S. economy as a whole? What's it going to mean to American families? And, you know, what needs to happen for the debt rating to be upgraded?
Yeah, well, the people that follow, this economic stuff, the BRICS countries, right? The Brazil, China, India, that's the shocker. They're all forming a new, reserve currency to challenge the U.S. dollar. This rating news puts further downward pressure on the United States of America. And so it makes the cost of our investments more, right? Treasuries, et cetera. We're going to have to work harder to attract investments in the U.S. Treasury. It's still the safest place to put your money, right? No one's going to put their money in China unless the BRICS, which they're threatening, is a gold-based currency with a technological solution, blockchain, that gives people absolute privacy and a record of all transactions. If they come in with both a gold-based foundation and absolute technological security, they can leapfrog us because there's no securities issues, right? No one's worried about the Chinese yuan, the renminbi, et cetera. They're going to say, hey, I got blockchain and it's based on gold. I'm fine. Then the United States of America, we're going to be in for some deep troubles for the next decade.
Well, only 30 seconds or so left, and thanks so much for your incredible insight. But just real quickly, what can be done to, if anything, to try to put the U.S. back on the road to fiscal responsibility?
Yeah, well, the Congress needs, it's appropriation season, so McCarthy needs to grab the bullhorn. He promised he would. I haven't heard it yet. I haven't heard anything from Republican leadership about curbing the spending. And then the Congress Financial Services Committee has to put an end to this digital currency piece, which is going through at warp speed by the Federal Reserve System. Congress can block it in 5 seconds. It's under Article 1. And so there's a couple of concrete steps.
Going to have to wrap it up there. Dr. Dave Brat, Dean of the School of Business, Liberty University, former congressman, great friend. Thank you so much for joining us on Washington Watch.